In front of me, I have over $500,000 worth of precious metals. In this video, I'm going to go over how much each of these products cost so that you can better visualize how large they are in real life. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Steph. I'm from aletheos.com. And what we do is help people, businesses, and super funds invest over $50,000 into precious metals safely, securely, and more importantly, legally. Now, I make these videos for everybody else so that they can be better informed on how the precious metal industry works because I believe every single human on the planet should own at least some precious metals. My neck is starting to hurt, so I'm going to cut this now. Okay, so how is this entire stack of precious metals actually worth over $500,000? Well, I have, and as you can tell, there's a lot of silver, 200 kilograms to be exact. So there's exactly 200 silver kilograms in front of me. I also have 50 whole ounces of gold, troy ounces, so 31.1 grams. The entirety of these things cost a total of $585,000. What you'll see as well is that the difference between gold or silver is that gold is much more dense in terms of value. You can buy each one of these right here in front of me. One of these ounces right here is worth $5,100 right now. $5,100. Whereas this large kilogram is only worth 1,650, and I say only very loosely. So in total, just the silver alone, this big old pile right here is worth $330,000. Now it's a big pile, but goddamn, that's a lot of money. So the total for the gold is $255,000. That's not a lot of like space that it's taking up or volume that it's taking up. It's extremely valuable. Gold, I could fit that all in a bag or a pocket. $250,000 right there. These two things have appreciated in value tremendously in the last 4 years. And most importantly, these assets are completely physical. So I can touch them. They're nobody else's liability. You can hear them clinking. Why do people invest in gold and silver? Well, it's actually really simple. People buy gold and silver because they are money. They are real money, right? Everybody on the planet right now can go bankrupt, and this gold and silver is still going to remain the exact same. That's why people buy gold and silver because it is real money. It's nobody else's financial obligation or liability. If you want to preserve your wealth effectively, you buy gold and silver. When you save in today's economy, and what we've seen in inflation in the last 3 to 5 years, especially, which will I believe will only continue to get worse, is an absolute erosion of the majority of people's savings because prices have jumped so tremendously high that people just cannot keep up. Cannot keep up. The middle class is done for at this point because that's what happens when governments, central banks, and commercial banks continue to print money through debt. The great thing about these is they are completely separate. Gold and silver are completely separate from this financial ruse that's going on. That means that if you buy gold and silver, you actually liberate yourself. You're more independent. You're less reliant on the system because gold and silver are the best forms of money that God has ever created. He literally made, I believe God literally made gold and silver for the single purpose alone to be used as actual money. And I believe the fact that we are not using it as money is an absolute disservice. And that's why we're experiencing all the trouble and heartache through the inflation, through the wars, through the debt. That's why we're experiencing those things because we will not follow what these should be used for, which is actual money. Both gold and silver are heavily suppressed as financial assets because they indicate trouble in the financial system. So the people in charge really try their hardest to make sure that gold and silver's prices do not appreciate because that means the public and the world is finally waking up to what's going on around the world, which is that our currencies, the currencies that we use every day, like the Australian dollar, are actually completely worthless. Whereas gold and silver store their value and have done so for thousands of years. In terms of size, silver takes the cake. It's absolutely massive, this pile in front of me. And it was a giant pain in the ass to move and lift it all, but it was well worth it. When I get clients come in and asking me about storage and they want to purchase a precious metal that is easier to store, especially if they've got huge sums of money, then I always recommend gold because it's so much easier to store. I could put that in a backpack and fly it overseas, no problem. Whereas the silver would be a lot more difficult. If storage is not an issue for you, I typically, I I'm a silver bug myself. I only buy silver. I recommend silver highly because it's so much more undervalued than gold. The central banks and the financial planners who run the world will allow gold's price to appreciate purely because purely because it is unreachable for the average person. So they can allow the price to run. Whereas with silver, if they allow the price of silver to run, then it indicates that the financial system is not too healthy. Silver is money of the people. This is money of the people, right? Whereas gold is the money of the sultans, the kings, the central banks. That's why central banks have been buying this stuff, the gold, absolutely endlessly. Now, obviously, they would be buying much bigger bars than those because they can literally just print the money. I have to go clean this up now. Oh, it's going to take a while. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you guys in the next one. My back is going to hurt severely. Enjoy your week. See you later. Bye.